Today, I'm going to tell you if you've been lucky in the brawlers you've gotten, or if you were one of the unlucky ones, and what you can do to improve your chances of getting every brawler in Brawl Stars. Hey everyone, what's happening? Lex back today for another Brawl Stars video, and today we are going to be talking about how lucky you are. So, are you feeling lucky? Well, just how lucky do you think you've been in Brawl Stars? Now, I put out a poll with some questions to figure just that out. And over 22,000 of you have responded. And thank you so much for participating. Really do appreciate it. So I've taken that data with the help of my good friend Buttercup, and we've put together something to let you know if you've been unlucky or if you're right there with everybody else. Now, first off, in there were two questions that I used as a control. First, how much money do you spend? And second, what is your experience level? Those two things in themselves are the biggest factors that you can use in getting drops from Brawl Stars. Plain and simple, the more boxes you open, the better chances you have. Now, almost 80% of you that responded are either totally free to play or you only spend money occasionally. The category just above free to play are probably the people who just buy the Brawl Pass, and that's about it, which, by the way, the Brawl Pass is the single best value in terms of progression that you can spend your money on. So if you're going to be spending money in Brawl Stars, if you only have a little bit to spend, that's the place that you should do it. And also use code LAX. And I'll show you that you don't have to spend a ton of money to get almost as much as the people who spend ridiculous amounts. But looking at that chart, I'd be the little slice there right at the top, you know, the dirty gemmer slice. That's mine. And for experience, 70% of you fall between 50 and 150 XP. Personally, I would be at 197 XP. I'm getting close to 200 XP. I'll show you each XP level as well as each amount of spending and how that corresponds to how many brawlers that you have on average. That way, you can see if you're one of the unlucky ones or if you're one of the lucky ones. First off, let's take a look at the overall percentage of mythic brawlers. How many players have none of them, and how many players have them all? Now, 60% of you either have them all or are just missing one. But that's including all XP levels and all levels of spending as well. To show if you're truly one of the lucky or the unlucky ones, let's break that down. Looking at this chart, you can see that XP level 100 or above, 5 of 6 mythic brawlers is pretty average. So if you're just missing out on that one that you just can't seem to get, well, you're not alone. Now, if you're above XP level 100 and you're missing 2 or more mythics, your luck is below average. But you're really unlucky if you're at XP 100 or higher and you're missing 3 or more of the mythic brawlers. If that's you, big F in the chat. Now, if you're spending money, you can see that the chart really flattens out, and on average, people, even on the lower spending levels, have higher amounts of mythic brawlers, so you don't have to spend a ton to really improve those odds. Now, moving on to the legendary brawlers, it's a little more split. It's somewhat even between players having 0 legendaries to having them all. Again, this is taking into account all XP levels as well as all spending levels. So for legendary brawlers, if you're above 100 XP and you only have 1 legendary brawler, then you're unlucky. If you have 2 to 3, then you're pretty lucky. And if you have them all, you're either extremely lucky or you're a dirty gemmer like me. Welcome to the club. Once again, your chances will go up if you're spending money, but the big jump here comes from not spending a ton of money, but simply buying that Brawl Pass. As you can see, going from free to play up to not free to play, but not a monthly spender, aka the Brawl Pass, your chances drastically increase. Now, I told you at the start of the video that I was going to tell you what you can do to improve your chances. Now, you may have already figured it out. In fact, it's pretty simple. There are 2 things that you can do to get the best chance of obtaining all the brawlers, all the gadgets, and the star powers. It's pretty simple. Number 1 would be play every day. Collect all the tokens that you can, which leads to more boxes. And number 2, spend money. Why these 2 things? Because more boxes equal better chances. That's pretty simple, right? However, you can see from the data that you don't have to spend a massive amount of money to really improve your chances. Just simply getting the Brawl Pass seems to be the biggest jump in progression that you can get. So if you're going to be spending money, the Brawl Pass is the place to do it. So what about trophy level? Where do you fall in line with all of the other players in Brawl Stars? If we take a look at this chart, you can see that the largest portion of players reside between 12,000 to 19,000 trophies as their personal best. Now, that's actually better than I thought it would be, so hey, good job. My personal best is actually like 23,500, right around there. But I think what this shows is that if you're watching Brawl Stars on YouTube, you're probably more than just a casual player. You're probably pretty dedicated to the game, and that's awesome. But you can take a look at the chart to see if you're above average or below average, but honestly, trophy count is much more an indicator of how much you play and not necessarily how good you are. Now, that's not to say that there isn't some correlation between the two, but trophy count in itself is not a direct indicator of your skill. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on chromatic brawlers because it was a pretty clear split between free-to-play players not having very many and people who pay even a little almost having them all. Of course, this is to be expected and falls in line with the idea of spending money on the Brawl Pass. Now, finally, epic brawlers were also pretty straightforward. Once you get up to around 100 XP, you're most likely either going to have them all or missing only one. Now, of course, brawlers aren't the only thing that I asked you about. Now, the gadget data, I think, was just screwed up because somehow, some way, the numbers just looked completely wrong. So I'm just going to throw that off to the side because, like, even people at the highest XP level that only showed an average of 35. So I think I did something wrong with my form. Blame that one on me. That's cool. However, the star powers, it seems to be pretty well accurate. And, of course, that magical 100 XP mark, if you're around there, chances are you probably have about a third of the star powers available for your brawlers. The big jump comes between the 100 to 150 XP. You see a massive jump in the star powers, most likely because when you get to that point, you're probably only missing a couple brawlers, and so the chances of you pulling a star power increase greatly. So if you're missing some star powers that you really want, it's probably going to take you a little bit longer because there's other brawlers mixed in along with gadgets and star powers. There's lots of possible drops, and the further you play along, the more that those drops get, weeded out, so where you only have a few things left over. Now, there was one last thing. I also collected data on which players had which brawlers because I wanted to find out which brawler in the game was the most rare brawler to see. And the answer is Sandy. Sandy, of course, being the most recent legendary brawler, propels him to being the most rare brawler that you can face in any match. So if you have Sandy, you're one of the lucky ones. If you don't, well, join the club. Not the club that I'm in because it's the Dirty Jimmer Club, and we've got them all. So there you guys go. You should now know if you're really lucky or if you're super unlucky. But more than likely, you're right there in the middle with everybody else. If you're missing that one legendary brawler that you really want, or if you're looking at that Mortis and you're like, bro, Mortis, just come to me. It's not happening. You're not alone. You're not the only one who's missing those brawlers. Just keep playing. Keep getting that Brawl Pass if you can. And if not, just log in every day, collect those boxes, open them up, and sooner or later, you will be getting that brawler that you've really been looking for. Anyways, but that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some use out of it. If you did, be sure to click that thumbs up. If you didn't, be sure to dislike it twice. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.